Hi, welcome to the Bobbi Bear left-handed crochet tutorial. If you're completely new to crochet, please watch our beginner stitches video just to give you some basics so you're not overwhelmed as we start. To get started, we're going to take out our pattern card, our rainbow yarn, our 4mm crochet hook, your magic circle tool, and 2 stitch markers. We're going to start with the magic circle. So place your magic circle tool with the groove facing you, then insert some of your rainbow yarn into the top. Then you're going to take the long side of your yarn and wrap around to make an X. Hold that end with your finger, however works for you. Then you're going to take your hook, and with your hook facing down, go under the first bit of yarn, pull the second through, and twist. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through that loop. Then I like to hold on to that loop with my finger, go back under, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through. And that is your first stitch. We're going to repeat this process 5 more times to create 6 stitches on our magic circle. Once you've done this 5 more times, you'll be able to count those V shapes and you'll have 6 of them. Pull your hook to make a big loop so it doesn't fall out, and place your stitch marker in that first stitch you did. This will help us know where to start and end our round as we go on. Once your stitch marker is secure, we're going to gently remove the magic circle from the tool. Then you're going to pull on that shorter bit of yarn to tighten it. You'll end with this little half circle. Now we're going to move into round 2. For round 2, you're going to remove your stitch marker and put your hook back in that loop and tighten it. Now we're going to do increases in round 2. So what that means is you're going to insert your hook into that first stitch, so that first V shape, yarn over, pull through, so you have 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over again and pull through. So that's a single crochet in that first stitch. But for an increase, we're going to do it twice into the same stitch. So go back and yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through. So you'll have 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Then you're going to go to the first one of those 2 and replace your stitch marker so you know where to end the round. That's very important to put your stitch marker back in. Then we're going to repeat this all the way around. So 2 single crochets into each of these stitches. You'll end the round with 12 stitches. So you can always go back and double check and just make sure you have 12 of those V-shaped stitches by the end. For round 3, we're going to do a single crochet and then an increase. So remove your stitch marker. You're going to do a single crochet, so just 1 time. Then you're going to mark it again, just so we have that place. And then your next one is going to be an increase. So you'll put 2 stitches into this 1 stitch. 1, 2. and then we'll go back to a single crochet. So the next one will just be 1, then an increase again. So you'll alternate going back and forth in each of these stitches, 1 single and then 1 increase all the way around, and you'll end the round with 18 stitches. For round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. So removing your stitch marker, do your first single crochet and then put your stitch marker back in, then another single crochet, and then an increase. Then 2 more single crochet, and then an increase. You'll repeat this all the way around till you get back to that stitch marker. You'll end the round with 24 stitches. In this round, round 5, we're going to switch things up a little bit. This time we're going to start with our increase. So mark the first one of those 2 with your stitch marker. But now that we've started with our increase, now we're going to single crochet 3 times. So we're just increasing the single crochets from the last one, but we're just switching up the order we do it in to help keep our circle nice and round. So now we go back to an increase, and then 3 single crochet, and then another increase. Repeat this pattern all the way around, and you'll end the round with 30 stitches. Rounds 6 through 13 are super easy because they're all single crochets all the way around. So we're going to take our stitch marker off, do our single crochet, then replace it, and then we're going to single crochet all the way around. So that's just 1 stitch in each of these stitches. Very simple. But the thing with rows 6 through 13 is you just want to make sure that you're marking off with your dry erase marker on your pattern card or writing it down on a piece of paper, whichever you prefer. You just really want to make sure you keep track of which row you're on. But other than that, it's extremely easy. So just follow along. I'm probably going to speed this up a little bit as we get going, but we're going to go through rows 6 through 13 all the way around, and you'll have 30 stitches in each one. Now we're moving on to round 7. This is again single crochet all the way around 30 times. Make sure to mark it off on your pattern card. For round 8, we're going to do the same exact thing. You're going to single crochet around 30 times. Before we start round 9, we're going to flip our project inside out. Now we're going to go ahead and crochet 30 times, all doing single crochet stitches. So a little hack is I like to put a stitch marker in rows 9 and 8 to mark, that in-between spot for when we come back to put the eyes in. You can always count from the bottom of your project, count out 9 rows so you know where it is. But personally, I find this a lot easier. Now moving on to round 10, we're going to do the exact same thing we've been doing. We're going to single crochet 30 times all the way around. For round 11, same thing. Single crochet all the way around 30 times. Round 12, same thing, single crochet all the way around 30 times. Round 13 is our last one of these. You're going to single crochet all the way around 30 times. Remember to keep replacing that stitch marker. As we move into this next round, we're going to add the eyes. So you're going to pull the loop out so it doesn't fall, and you're going to take the eyes from your little bag and find that stitch marker again. So I like to put them on the bottom half so they're slightly lower, or they'll end up being higher on his face. So put one eye there, and then you're going to count over 5 to 6 stitches. So you'll see here, I did 5, but it felt like the eyes were a little too close together, so I ended up moving them over 1. Keep in mind you're going to have to attach a nose between these, so you can use the bag for reference. Then you're going to flip it inside out and attach the backing. Only do this once you're happy with where the eyes are placed. Now we're going to move on to round 15. Put your hook back in and pull to tighten. Remove your stitch marker. And now we're going to single crochet 3 times. So single crochet, then replace your stitch marker so you know where to start. Single crochet 2 more times. And then we're going to start our first decrease. Your decrease, you're going to put your hook through the front loop only of the next 2 stitches. And then pull through those 2 and then pull through again. And that's a decrease stitch because you're combining 2 stitches. So you're going to single crochet 3 more times. And then do another decrease. We're going to repeat this pattern all the way around till we get back to our stitch marker. You'll end the round with 24 stitches. So you can always go back and count the V shapes in this round to make sure you have the right amount. For rows 16 and 17, we are going to be stuffing. So you're going to cut and take out the stuffing. And I like to stuff it not all the way full. I like to do most of the way, and then I'll add the last bit before I close it up, because that way I can still crochet around and it's pretty easy. Just add till it's mostly full, and you can put that little piece in there. And then you can keep crocheting and we'll add more a little bit later. Okay, now we're going to move on to round 18, and we're going to start this round with a decrease. So I removed the stitch marker, and now we're going to start with our decrease. Same thing, doing the exact same thing. And now I'll put my stitch marker in to mark that new stitch. And then we're going to do 2 single crochets. Then we'll go back to a decrease. And you're going to repeat that, 2 single crochets and then a decrease all the way around till you get back to your stitch marker. You'll end the round with 18 stitches. Round 19, we're going to do a single crochet and then a decrease. So remove that stitch marker, do a single crochet, then replace your stitch marker. Then we're going to do a decrease. Then single crochet, and then another decrease. And you'll repeat this all the way around, and you'll end the round with 12 stitches. And at the end of this round is where I'd recommend adding any more stuffing you want, just so it's the right density and right, firmness that you want for your Bobbi the Bear, because it'll be, too hard to add it after this next round. Okay, for the second to last row, now that you've added the last bit of stuffing that you want, it's going to be all decreases. So you're going to start with a decrease, and then put your stitch marker, which you still need that even though it's one of the last rows. You still need to know where to stop. And then you're going to decrease all the way around. and you'll end with 6 stitches. Okay, so now you're going to pull your hook and make a big loop, remove your stitch marker, and then you can use the scissors that come with the kit or grab another pair and cut a long tail. Then you're going to use one of the sets of needles from the kit and you're going to pull it through and make a knot. I like to pull it kind of in the opposite direction, if that makes sense. And then you're going to slip stitch, so just sew through just the front loops of all of these stitches. And don't worry about tightening it yet. You go all the way around. Once you get to the end, this part is very satisfying. You can pull to tighten, and then you're going to stick your needle through the middle and push it all the way through to bury the yarn. And you should be left with this very, very clean bottom to your amigurumi. Then we're simply going to cut that tail. And Bobbi the Bear's body is done. To make the ears, we're going to start by making another magic circle with our rainbow yarn. And you're going to put 6 stitches into this magic circle, same as we did before. And that's your first stitch. And you're going to do that 5 more times. Once you've done 6 stitches, you can count them. You're going to put your stitch marker in that first stitch. Then you're going to gently pull your magic circle off the magic circle tool and pull on that shorter piece of yarn to tighten it. And there's your magic circle. For round 2 of the ear, we're going to increase all the way around. So we're going to increase 6 times. So remove your stitch marker and make your first 2 stitches into that first stitch. So you go twice into that 1 stitch, and that's your increase. Make sure to put your stitch marker back on that first stitch you made. Then another increase, so 2 stitches into this 1 stitch, and repeat that all the way around, and you'll end the round with 12 stitches. Round 3 is super easy. You're just going to single crochet all the way around. So remove your stitch marker, do a single crochet, replace that stitch marker, and then you're going to single crochet all the way around, and you'll end this round with 12 stitches. Now you can remove that stitch marker and use your scissors to cut a long tail. Make sure it's nice and long because you're going to have to use it to sew. Grab one of your needles, and then you're going to make a knot. And then you're going to flip it inside out. And that is going to be your first ear. Now just go back and repeat this entire process one more time to make your second ear. Go ahead and pause or rewind in order to make your second ear. Okay, so to attach our ears, first we're gonna fix this little knot that's sticking up here. We're gonna use our needle and push it through like just behind the knot. Basically, we're just trying to tuck the knot in so it doesn't stick out so much. There you go, see? Okay, so now to actually attach the ear, what we want is we want to attach it 3 rows down. So there's that 1, 2, and then 3rd row here. That's where we're actually going to attach the ear. So you're going to go under, and now it's like slightly on. Make sure that's where you want it, you know, kind of take a look at it. And then to secure it, you could make a knot, or what I like to do is I'm going to go up at the very back of the ear, like the point of the ear, and then go back under where I just came up from on the body. And that'll just kind of pin it in place. I like to come out the back here because we're going to sew through the ear. See? Kind of holds it in place. Now, keep checking back to make sure your ear is straight. I like it to go directly across. But all you're going to do is go back and forth through the bottom here. So those bottom row of stitches. Take your time, be patient. It's easy to undo if you make a mistake. And then you're going to go back under. And we're just going to go back and forth repeating this process. Just go under the stitches on the body. And then go back through the bottom stitches of the ear. Super simple, but it can be a little bit tedious, so just take your time, be patient. Don't be afraid to undo things if you feel like you made a mistake. Speaking of mistakes, so you'll see right here, I make a mistake. I go a little bit too far out with my stitch, and it ends up pulling the ear backwards. So see, it's kind of at an angle now. It's kind of pointing backwards when I want it to be straight across. So what I'm going to do is just pull that stitch out. Super simple. Then rethread my needle. And I'm just going to go back in a little bit closer in. So kind of directly underneath the ear instead of out behind. See, much straighter. And now you just finish it off, kind of tuck in that little corner of the ear. All right, I like where he's at. So now I'm finished. I'm going to bury this yarn. So I'm going to push it back down through. You can even do one more stitch and then push it through if you want it to make it extra secure. Push it out through the back of the body, and that'll bury the yarn. I'm going to do the same thing with this other smaller piece of yarn. And now it's finished. And I just have to trim those, and the ears are done. You're going to repeat this on the other side, going out 3 rows, just to the other side of the body. Exact same process, super easy. Once you've finished both, the very last step for the ears is just to trim off that excess yarn that you buried, and then they're done. You'll see he's got a nose right now, but don't worry, you haven't missed anything. I just had to take a step back and refilm the ears. But what we're going to do right now is make the nose and attach it. Now finally we're going to make our nose. To make our nose, we're going to make another magic circle, this time using the white yarn. We're going to repeat the exact same process that we did earlier for making a magic circle with the Magic Circle tool. I will slow it down again so it's easier to see. When all that's done, you're going to put your stitch marker in your last stitch and pull your magic circle off the Magic Circle tool. And then you're going to pull on that smaller bit of yarn to tighten your magic circle. For round 2, you're going to be increasing all the way around. So remove your stitch marker, do your single crochet and then another single crochet to create your increase. Then replace your stitch marker and then do another increase into the next stitch. Then repeat this all the way around and you'll end the round with 12 stitches. For the last round of the nose, you're going to increase and then single crochet 5. So remove your stitch marker and then do your increase in that first stitch. Replace your stitch marker. And then you're going to single crochet 5. Then after that 5th one, you're going to do another increase. And then you're going to single crochet 5 again. You'll end this round with 14 stitches. Once we finished all that, we're going to remove our stitch marker and cut our yarn. So leave a nice long tail. Then we're going to grab our needle and we're going to create a knot in that end of the yarn. And I like to pull it back towards me. And then I like to just kind of tuck it in like that. It's not really precise, but that keeps the knot hidden. Okay, and then you're going to flip it over. This is the one where we're not going to turn it inside out because I feel like it's a lot easier to insert the nose through this side. So grab your yarn, grab your needle, and pull that strand through the middle just to get it on the opposite side. And now you're good to attach the nose. Make sure that your snout, the little circle here, is positioned with your knot at the bottom. And then you're going to go up from the middle of it, that magic circle. There's a little triangle shaped stitch, and you're going to go into that stitch. So you're going to push the nose through here, in between these stitches. And once I'm finished with this, I'll show you what the back side looks like so you can get a clear view if you can't really tell from this angle. So this is what it looks like from the back. It's like actually in the middle of a row instead of in between the rows. Okay, so something I noticed when I was going to attach the backing on mine is that the back for the nose is a little bit loose. So here's a super, super quick and easy way to fix that. You're gonna grab some scrap yarn, ideally the same color. So I grabbed some white. If you want, it's a little bit easier, you can put it in, the needle. And then what you're gonna do is just wrap it through the backing, maybe like 2 or 3 times. I think I was able to get, maybe 3 times through. And then you're gonna take that and attach the backing. And that yarn will kind of keep it nice and tight. Make sure to press it very firmly though, because you still want to make sure it goes all the way. There you go. See, now it's all nice and snug. And then you're just going to trim the excess yarn. And because it's the same color, you really won't see it regardless, but this just makes it easier. Make sure you don't cut any of the other yarn. And there you go. Nice, really easy way to make it fit if for some reason yours is loose like mine was. Before we attach the nose, I want to explain the placement. So you'll see the eyes have like this width of 2 rows. We want to line the top of the nose, or the snout, up with the bottom of those 2 rows. So when you're placing it on, you're going to hold it there, and that's going to be our guide for where to stitch on the bottom of the snout. Because our working yarn is going to be on the bottom here, because that's where our knot is. But we're going to use that top bit as our guide. So keep referring back to it. Okay, so you're going to thread your yarn and position it like I just showed you. And wherever that bottom falls, because that's where your knot should be, you're going to attach it. So you're going to sew through on the body and then through the outside stitches of the little snout. So you'll see it's kind of easy to position and move around. And then we're just going to go around the outside of the nose, slowly stitching onto the body. Just make sure every so often to come back, reposition the top, make sure it's lined up right where you want it. You may have to undo some stitches, you may have to redo some things, don't worry, it's part of the process. And you're just going to do this all the way around. Once you're all the way around and you're happy with your placement, now we're just going to bury the loose yarn. So you're going to take it, push it through, and then we're going to trim it, and there you've got your nose. And now Bobbi the Bear is officially done. Be sure to tag us on social media once you're done. We'd love to see your finished creations.